What's going on, Falcon fans? This is your boy Kondo coming back at you with another video. And guys, it is game week, and I'm going to give you my preview of this week's game, my keys to victory, and what about our opponent that we think we can actually take advantage of this week. And we've been waiting for this week for a long time. All the offseason moves that the Atlanta Falcons have had. Um, Finally get to see it all put together. All the investments they made on the defensive side of the ball. Finally, we get to see if the Atlanta Falcons can actually be a good defensive team, and then being able to watch all those weapons that Desmond Ritter is going to be able to, distribute the ball to this week is really going to be exciting. So I can't wait to see what these Atlanta Falcons are going to bring out this week, and I know you guys can't too. We've been talking about this. When you thinking about what's going on, Bubba Gump, you think about a division opponent, right? All division games most time be really, really tough, and you don't really know what to expect coming into the first game of the season. With the Carolina Panthers, new coaching staff, and all those things. So this really going to be interesting to see how these Atlanta Falcons, come together, almost a new team on defensive side of the ball. I think they got 7 new starters that's going to actually line up according to the depth chart. We got a quarterback coming in just in his second season. Only played 4 games last year. See how he has mastered this offense that Arthur Smith is going to deploy with all those weapons, right? Kyle Pitts coming back. We already talked about all the storylines, but going into this week against the Carolina Panthers is important, and I think the Atlanta Falcons need to establish that being this division game, this is where they needs to be able to get it off and make things happen. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to this channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button. So I know you guys like here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about, these Atlanta Falcons. So the quick rundown today, guys, I'm going to pretty much go over the injury report. Of course, the injury report came out for both teams. Of course, it's going to change throughout the week, but right now we're going to go to the injury report. Let us know who's in, who's out, who potentially be out. All right. Then we're going to talk about the Panthers and what kind of team they have. What can we expect from those guys? And then that's when I get into my keys. The keys to victory. You guys know how I do it. I always go offense, defense, and special teams, and we talk about the keys to victory. So definitely is something that I really want to be ready to look out for this weekend. So, guys, right into that, we're going to go ahead and get into that injury report. And for injury report, of course, for the Falcons, we had 4 guys on the injury report today. Jeff Okudah and Jonnu Smith did not practice. Jeff Okudah, we already know his situation. However, Arthur Smith said he has not been ruled out for game 1. So it'll be interesting to see, where he, if he's able to practice tomorrow, if he gets out there and he get his reps in. But he said he's looking good. So if he don't play this week, we probably can anticipate Jeff Okudah making his Falcons debut next week against the Green Bay Packers. Jonnu Smith was just out for a rest day, so I think he's going to be a go. I think they just had him out for a rest day today, so we're not going to be too concerned about Jonnu Smith and things like that. Now we get into guys that was limited today. Cardell Patterson was limited. We know we haven't seen Cardell Patterson and Cardell Hodge, for a while. Cardell Hodge got hurt in that Cincinnati game with an ankle. You want to be really, serious and sensitive about those ankles, especially if it's like a high ankle sprain. But he was limited today. He should be getting back out there. He plays a big role on special teams, and semi role, good role on with the offense as well. Being a receiver in that passing game. So both of those guys, Cardell Patterson, apparently it was a thigh. He had an issue with his thigh. But both of those guys did practice in limited, fashion today. So we'll see where they showed up on the injury report later on this week. So guys, that's it. So pretty much the Falcons are going into this week game, pretty much healthy. Guys that we kind of figured that was going to be out, kind of, limited a little bit. Guys like Cordell Patterson that we haven't seen him you know, um, since training camp. He didn't play in any of the games this season, this preseason. Cordell Hodge, we know about him. John Smith, just a rest day, and Jeff Okuda, we know about his high ankle sprain. Going into the Carolina Panthers injury report, right? Because we got to know what our foe is going to be looking like as well. The injury report, they had 6 guys on the injury report today. DJ Chart, I think the one that's more concerning to them, the wide receiver, did not practice today, along with defensive end Deshaun Williams. Neither one of those guys practiced today. Limited practice, they had safety Sam Franklin, wide receiver Terrence Marshall, and wide receiver Adam Thielen. Both of those guys, all 3 of those guys actually was limited today. I think all those guys probably going to go, so I'm pretty sure the Falcons probably need to be ready to see those 3 guys. Deshaun Williams was out with an illness, so more than likely, if he gets um, back up his strength back up and things like that, he probably is going to be a go-to. So there you have it, guys. For the most part, we don't know the situation with Brian Burns. We know he's want to get a contract. We know they was far apart, so we don't know if Brian Burns is going to be out there or not. So that's one of the things we just have to wait to see. If they can get a deal done or something like that, then Brian Burns will be out there. But the Atlanta Falcons need to prepare for the whole team, no matter what, to make sure that these guys be ready. You can take the injury report with a grain of salt, because it all is about mind game, chess games and stuff like that. One of your key guys out, they was like, well, because when they have to prepare for a certain person, that's what you're going to do. So we want the Atlanta Falcons to prepare for Brian Burns, right? Because that's one of their better players. So things like that, you definitely want to see. Don't want to be caught off guard if he run out that tunnel, with his team on Sunday at 1 o'clock. So that's definitely one of the things we want to think about. We think about the Carolina Panthers. Now, guys, that's the injury report. Like I said, both teams pretty much coming in healthy, so it should be a good game. No excuses. Everybody coming out there, and let's see what happens. Right, that's what we want to see. Right, we don't know. It's an unknown because we got a fairly new team, especially on the defense side of the ball, young quarterback, and the Carolina Panthers. We know what they got. All right, so guys, that's the injury report. For the most part, look like we're gonna be ready to go and everybody's gonna be good. All right, let's get into the next topic. And really, this is about the Carolina Panthers, the team itself. And when I think about the Carolina Panthers, let's get into their offseason. Of course, they make a coaching change. Matt Rule, was let go in the middle of the season. They decide not to keep Steve Wilkes, and then they decide to bring in Frank Wright. Correct? He got a very good veteran coaching staff. Especially on the offensive side of the ball. We already know about their defense, but and then of course they make the deal, decide to go ahead and move up to bring in Bryce Young, moving up to number 1. So they got to start with a young rookie quarterback that's is going to get his feet put to the fire the first game of the season against our Atlanta Falcons. But the thing about new coaching staff, does it take time to develop the culture that people always talk about? Is the chemistry good? They got a new defensive coordinator in Evero. What kind of scheme they're going to play, those kind of things that we talk about, unscouted looks and things like that. These are sort of the things that the Falcons are going to have to be concerned with, because it's some of the things that we have not seen. Like I said, new coaching staff, new off Sorry about that, guys. My internet went out on me. That has never happened to me before. While I was on the live, I'm not sure where you guys left me off, but I'm just gonna kind of pick up where I left off about the new coaching staff with the Carolina Panthers. Um, they can take some things from Frank Wright when he's with the Philadelphia Eagles and when he was with the Indianapolis Colts, his recent stint there he had, utilizing how he's going to utilize Bryce Young. They're going to use some of the read options, some things they did when they was with Philly. And are they going to use, go back into the offense he kind of used when he was in Indianapolis Colts, when he had Phillip Rivers and those guys, Matty Ice and things like that. So we have to go back and look at the scheme. Most time, quarterback, you know, whispers like Frank Wright and offensive coaches don't kind of change their scheme, so you kind of get an idea, what he's gonna be running. Um, Now, he was in Philadelphia with, so let's not see what happens with that, because I love the Andy Reid offense and things like that. So that's going to be interesting to see how Frank Wright decided to go ahead and shape up his offense. But I think the strength of the Carolina Panthers is definitely their defense. That's where the Atlanta Falcons really going to have to lock in. Arthur Smith going to have to be really, really sound and solid with his play calling. Our offensive line going to have to be really ready to go, to be able to protect our young quarterback, Desmond Ritter. I think that's where the strength of the Carolina Panthers is on the defensive side of the ball. And if you look at some of their players that they got on the defensive side of the ball, which I'm really concerned about, is really the guys in that front seven. And you think guys like Shy Tuttle, Derek Brown, Shaq Thompson, they brought in Justin Houston, and like I said, if Brian Burns goes. So their front seven is what I'm mostly concerned about, being able to to get our run and things like that. So we talk about the Carolina Panthers, um, solid defense for a long time. They really built that defense up. Even though they got rid of all their offensive weapons over the last year or so, getting rid of Chris McCaffrey, getting rid of their number one wide receiver in DJ Moore. If you look at their front seven, it's pretty good. So they built this team, with a defensive mindset, probably trying to run the ball. If you look at the two games that the Panthers had on the Atlanta Falcons last year, that's what they really did. They ran the ball a lot, and they got after us on it with their defense. So that's we got to be expecting that. It's the first game of the season. Like I said, guys like Shot Tuttle, Derek Brown, it's no slouches, up front in their lines. Justin Houston, we know his, how good he's been in his career. Yes, he's on the older side, and like I said, we don't know about Brian Burns. We know Shaq Thompson is one of the best, middle linebackers in this league still today. So their defense is, in my opinion, what the Atlanta Falcons really need to be focusing on. Now you go to the offensive side of the ball. I think this is where they was hurt. We know with doing that trade, getting rid of their number one target in DJ Moore. They do bring in the veteran Alan Thielen, but I think he's kind of past his prime. He will be their number one guy. They did go out and draft Jonathan Mingo. I really liked him when I was looking at him in the draft, a guy that I thought big body guy that can play um, in the slot and make good misses and things like that. With the Arthur Smith offense, not sure how he's gonna fare in the Carolina Panthers offense. Um, Hayden Hurst is a guy that we really, really probably need to be concerned about. We know Hayden Hurst, guy who's with the Atlanta Falcons, went over to Cincinnati, actually had played, pretty decent with those guys. So, Lavicia Chenault, one of those, gadget guys that they can definitely use and get out in space, and he's really explosive. One of the biggest signings that they did make was Miles Sanders. I really like his shiftiness. Guy I had in my fantasy league last year, they really gave me a lot of points. A guy that's really, really dynamic. So we really got to be looking out for Miles Sanders. But all is going to be on the young rookie quarterback and Bryce Young. That's where it's really going to boil down to, in my opinion, and what kind of pressure the Atlanta Falcons can put on him. A guy that seemed pretty poised when he was with the University of Alabama. Um, got beat up pretty good, however, and in this preseason. So he already got his welcome to the NFL moment. I hope we can welcome him even more though. So when we get into the Atlanta Falcons, we definitely going to talk about that. But guys, that's my opinion on the Carolina Panthers. Their strength is on the defense. Our offense need to be able to take advantage of that. I think some of the weapons and around what they got for Bryce Young is in my opinion a lot to be desired there. Um, of course, I do like Miles Sanders to help them out in the run game, and I'm not going to forget about Chuba Hubbard, another guy who's running all over the Atlanta Falcons last year as well. But their offensive line is going to be the key for them. If the offensive line can hold up for Bryce Young, he could potentially, be able to fare well in that. But in my opinion, I don't think that's going to be the case. And I really want to hear what you guys got to say about that. Bubba Gump says our front seven has to get after Bryce. Their O line isn't good, and that's the point I'm making. What we've seen, they are starting a rookie right guard right there, and in Grady Jarrett's wheelhouse. He need to take advantage of that definitely. Their left tackle, last year draftee Ikunu going up against Celeste Campbell. Can't wait to see that matchup. So I think we Bubba just said, we definitely got to take advantage of that front seven. Of their offensive line with our front seven. So guys, there you have it. That's what I gotta say about the Carolina Panthers team as a whole. A team that I think that maybe in a couple of years, in my opinion, can definitely be solid if they get Bryce Young some more weapons. You know, clean up his offensive line and things like that. Maybe they can have something built, especially the way that defense is already is built and put together. They do need to figure out, the situation with Brian Burns, because that's really going to hurt them, especially when they had an opportunity to trade him last year and get some compensation for it. So that situation is interesting going into week one, where it's still reported that they are part in his contract negotiations. All right, guys, let's go on and get into the keys to victory today. And we're going to start with the offensive keys, of course. And you guys know how to do it. Like I said, I always go offense, defense, special team, because it's a team game. And I want to make sure I throw out the keys for each, phase of this offense. Of this Atlanta Falcon team, because they all need to perform. We don't want the offense to just do their thing and the defense don't do their thing. And the special teams, don't make tackles on kickoff and punts and things like that. We want everybody to make sure that we can have a complete game. So when we talk about the offensive side of the ball, we talked about it a lot. I just talked about that defensive line and guys like Derek Brown and Shy Tuttle. Our offensive line need to establish the line of scrimmage. It's just that simple. We need to be able to protect our young quarterback in Desmond Ritter, and we need to be able to run the ball. We know Arthur Smith wants to run the ball. That run game sets up so much of the way this offense is put together. So we able to run the ball by establishing the line. That's definitely something that I think we need to be able to do. So that's my number one key on offense. We got to be able to establish the offensive line. The Atlanta Falcons was third last year in rushing. We need to be able to continue that. We don't need to be able to go down. We need to be able to either stay at that level or even be better this year. So really going to be interested to see especially when we're starting a young rookie at left guard. I just talked about their rookie. Our rookie is going up against Derek Brown, Shot Tuttle. So we need to make sure that we establish that offensive line early, so they'll know that we mean business. The second key, which is probably should have been my first key, but we got to get off on a fast start, right? We want to be able to go down and put points on the board right away, right? We don't want to start off sluggish and slow and things like that. We want to be able to start off fast. So that's one of the things I definitely want to see the Atlanta Falcons do. If we could, duplicate what we did in that Cincinnati game, but not turning over the ball and coming away with points, a 19 play drive, something like that, without the penalties, of course, as well. That would be awesome. We can already let them know that we're not playing around. We want to be able to start to do some of the things. So that's definitely one of the things I really want to see from this Atlanta Falcons team, is to be able to start off fast, get on the boards, and put the pressure on that young quarterback in Bryce Young. So second key on the offense side of the ball is make sure that we start off on a fast level. Third key, you talk about this key here. I think this should probably need to be the key for every week, because if you don't do this, you probably won't win a lot of games, and that's to be good on third down, and you need to make sure you score touchdowns in the red zone, right? I'm putting those together, but you have to be able to move the ball on third down, right? Now we want to be able to create those third and shorts and things like that, definitely. So if we can do that, it'd be better for us to be able to call anything in the playbook if we in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, and things like that. But we need to be able to get our first downs on third down, and then we get in the red zone. We need to be able to put touchdowns on the board. So that's what I think. If the Atlanta Falcons do all those three things on offense, I think we would definitely be solid. You notice I did not mention Desmond Ridder. Of course, it goes without saying that Desmond Ridder needs to play well, right? So I'm that just was to cap the obvious, saying that I'm not going to even go there with that. But Atlanta Falcons is able to establish the line of scrimmage early. They need to establish the line of scrimmage early. They need to get off to a fast start. We don't want any slow starts in our first game in the Mercedes-Benz stadiums, so the fans can get in it and be ready to go and roll. And then the third thing is make sure that we are able to get first downs on third down. And when we get in the red zone, we're able to score touchdowns. If we can do that on the offense side of the ball, the Atlanta Falcons will come out ahead the way they need to come out this week against the Carolina Panthers. What's going on, Michael? All right, guys. Defensive side of the ball. Let's go to the defensive keys. And out of all the things we talked about this offseason, this is one of the most exciting things I want to see. I'm really interested to see how this defense is really going to fare for us this season. So excited. Like I said, we got 7 new starters on defense. Right? That means pretty much we have a new defensive, core out there. And the guys that left, right? Richie Grant, Grady Jarrett, right? Richie Grant, Grady Jarrett, AJ Terrell, and I think Lorenzo Carter is the 4th guy. So that's pretty solid, right? Everybody else is brand new. And if we can go out and deliver with those guys, it's really going to be something that I'm going to love. So when I think about the keys to defense, it's really simple to me, right? We talked about how deep and how solid the Carolina front line is with Derek Brown and Shai Tuttle, but for the Atlanta Falcons, we need to dominate the line of scrimmage. Yep, dominate, not control it, not. We need to dominate it with the guys we got. That means we need to make sure they feel us, from the first play all the way in the 4th quarter. If we can do that this week, and if you go back to game 1 last season against the New Orleans Saints, right? We did that. right? For 3 quarters, we dominated the New Orleans Saints line of scrimmage. We dominated, but we started to fall off in that fourth quarter. So the Atlanta Falcons, if they're going to come out and show that the improvement that was invested in this defense is going to pay off this year, we need to make sure we start, with domination and we finish with domination too. So that's my number one key on the defense. We need to dominate the line of scrimmage. I think we have the personnel to do it with guys like, Calais and Yada coming over. Grady is going to be Grady. He's going to do his thing. But if you factor up that push up the middle, like I'm hoping to see, and then those guys from the outside can be able to take advantage of it, we could really, really make a tough, first start for young rookie quarterback Bryce Young. So that's what I want to see. My first key on defense is to dominate the line of scrimmage from a defensive standpoint. 3 Dirty says, can we really look at fast starts with the limited ones in preseason? I'm looking for 2 or 3 series to get rolling. That's a great point, man. But I still want to. I agree with you. So you can definitely see they might not be able to start off fast, but in my opinion, if they can, that'd be really good for us. The reason why I say this because most times, and if you've been watching football a long time, the first 15 plays are usually scripted, right? So it's something that they don't practice and they don't they drill these plays in throughout the week, get ready for the game. So those first 15 or so plays going to be scripted anyway. So it's not like it's something new. Of course, the Florida game dictates calling different plays and things like that. But if they go out and with those scripted first 15 plays, they can it is a possibility where they can definitely, get off to a fast start. So you might be right. It might take them 2 or 3 series, but if they could, utilize those scripted plays and march down the field, and like I said, get the fan base into it early, right? Because all these vibes we feeling, if they can come out and do that, and get it rolling early, that's going to really be good for us. So, good point, but let's see if they can, kind of knock that kind of train of thought by coming out and having that fast start that we would like them to see. All right. My second key is something that the Atlanta Falcons just was not able to do last season. I mean, it was they was in the bottom half of the lead in this category, and it's getting off the field on third down. It's just that simple. Third down is the money down. We always talk about it. It's probably the one of the most important plays in football is third down because it's the momentum for the offensive side. The offense can get it, and it's definitely momentum for the defensive side. It brings that what you need, especially you playing at home. If your crowd can get in on defense and you able to actually come out and make that stop on third down, that's what we need to see. So last year, the biggest issue with the Falcons with third down, it was just too many third and shorts, right? So, when I talk about getting out the field on third down, it means they need to be good on first down and second down, on defense this year. Last year, it was too many third and shorts. Dean Pease talked about it because you think about it, looking at it, and when teams get into like I mentioned for our team, third down, if you can get into third and twos and third and fours, it's hard to stop teams in third and twos and third and four because their playbook is wide open then at the time. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball, they don't have to get 4 yards that way. So you got to be able to create those third and longs and things like that. Something the Atlanta Falcons were not able to do last season. So if they're able to do that more this season, especially in this game, it'll really help because now we can talk about, getting that pass rush. I think the Atlanta Falcons can, and will have over 40 sacks this season. But to be able to do that, you got to start to get into, third and longs and things like that, so you can actually unleash the pass rush. Because one reason I think it's capable because of the secondary. I think the secondary will be able to hold up a little bit longer to, create that extra second, and extra time for the quarterback have to hold the ball for some of those guys to get home. So this is going to be important to me. Third down is always important. You know, don't be surprised if every week I come out and say Atlanta Falcons need to get out the field on third down, one of the keys on defense. And that's where I'm at with it. You said good point. Being home with the crowd help the defense until they lock in. Definitely, definitely, man. This is, it's gonna be rocking. I don't know how it's gonna be the rest of the season, but I can promise you, game one, with the vibe around Atlanta and everybody having that good feel, ready to see, the young stud Bijan Robinson, it's gonna be rocking on Sunday. So we know, but our defense got the, like, I can tell you this one thing, as a fan, because I go to all the games, right? And they say get loud, get loud, get loud. But if your team is giving up first down, first down, first down, first down, it's kind of hard to get loud, right? Because you're like, damn, man, you ain't even making no resistance here. You're not like getting them in second down. You're giving up first down on first down. So it's hard to like get into it. But if defense can go out, get a big sack, you know, get a couple 3-and-outs, that's when the crowd get into it. And then we could work together. That's what we want. We want that feeling. We want to be able to help the defense, but the defense got to help us out. The players know that. I love the way Arthur Smith said, you want the fans to be there, but you got to get something for the fans to cheer for. That's just the reality of it, man. And that's is one thing that I know that hopefully that Atlanta Falcons can really do this season, off season. I mean, this I said off season, this season. All right, the last key on defense for me is don't let Bryce Young make one of those explosive plays, right? Don't give up explosive plays. Last year against the Carolina Panthers, they had a lot of explosive plays against us. And that's one thing we cannot have, right? No big runs, no big throws. Of course, the big throw they had the first time we played them, DJ Moore took his helmet off. Should have been an L, but we was able to, to come away with that. Last year it was a big play down the sideline in Carolina. I think that was Chenault, or it was or Chart, one of them. I can't think who it was, but really a big play that kind of opened that game up. We cannot allow big plays, no explosive plays. If they're going to beat us, they're going to have to drive the ball methodical, right? That's what we want to have to see them do. So if they definitely can do something like that, that's what I want to see. But don't give up explosive plays on defense. If we do those things on defense consistently with the things I mentioned on offense, guys, the Atlanta Falcons will start off the season 1-0, something they haven't did since 2017, right? So let's see if they can get it done on defensive side of the ball with all those new guys. Honorable mention for defensive keys is communication. Like I said, we had 7 new new players on the defense starting, so they got to be able to communicate, make sure that's down. Had all off season to get the chemistry down. New offense, new defensive coordinator, new passing game guys back there with Jerry Gray. So we need to make sure the communication is solid, the game plan is solid, and if they beat us, it's not because of our execution. It was just a better play. Sometimes it happens when a player makes a good play. It's nothing you can do about it, right? But if you execute them correctly and things like that, that's something you could be be happy about, because you like the play was made correct. We executed correctly. The guy just made a good play, and you can live with that. So no mistakes, miscommunications and things like that, and I think we'll be good. All right, guys, let's get into our last topic. And a lot of people don't, always think about special teams, and I think they're trying to get rid of the kickoff completely anyway. But special teams is always important. I think it's one of the most underrated things about football. When you think about special teams, I always look at, if you do go and you're not able to score, right? Just say if you're driving down the field, you're not able to score. You get a good punt and you pin those guys deep, right? You put the onus back on them now to be able to get a couple of first downs, because if they don't get a couple of first downs, you're going to get the ball, you know, maybe in even better field condition, position than you had before. So that's one of the things you really, really need to think about on special teams. So for me, for special teams, um, it's always going to be, for you guys just to know me, been watching me these last couple of years. My first key always is field position, right? You create field position. Because the longer they have to drive the ball to score, is the better for you. And the less yards you have to go to score so field position is so important. And like I said, sometimes a punt is not a bad thing, right? Sometimes you just got to punt it away. You get a couple of penalties, right? Put you in, third and long, stuff like that. Don't create and compound it with a bad play. Just live another day, throw the ball away, punt it off, set your guys up in good field position, and take it, get on 3 and out and get out. That's the way you look at it. So my number one key on special teams is always about field position, because that's one of the main things that when I'm looking at a game is, how many yards they had to go to score. If we get the ball on the 50, you know, every drive, right? We only got 50 yards to go, right? So that's the way I think about it, right? So field position is always going to be one of the key things for me when I think about on special teams. And then the last thing on special teams is what I think is really one of the most important things on special teams is um no big plays, right? I think if you give up a big play on special teams, sometimes that could equate as that L. So no big plays on special teams. That means no turnovers, right? You definitely don't want to fumble the ball when you're in the return game on special teams. Now you can create them. You can create them. That'd be great. But no big plays, no returns for touchdowns, no putting those they guys in. Going back to my first point, putting their guys in good field position because you gave up explosive return. So number two key on special teams: don't give up explosive plays. All right, you can create them, create explosive plays. So the key word is explosive plays. When you're out there covering kicks, don't give up explosive plays. And when you're got you know receiving the ball, take it to the house. Let CP go for number 10. That would be awesome, right? I would love to see that in the first game of the season. So um that's where I'm at, guys. I really think that if the Atlanta Falcons can do those things on offense, defense, and special teams, they really have an awesome chance to win this game. So you go back to my prediction. I already predicted that Atlanta Falcons will win this game on Sunday. I think our team is better equipped coming into this season. It'll be interesting to see how the Carolina Panthers, start to come together throughout the season. But I think the Atlanta Falcons is having the coaching staff together for the first 3 years now. Of course, we got some new faces there, but having that established, being able to come in, I think Atlanta Falcons going to win this game 28-17. Right? Really interested to see what you guys think about that. But also let me know about my keys to victory today. or there's some other points that you want to factor out. Like, once again, I didn't talk about any players, right? I didn't talk about, this guy's got to do this guy's got to do this. All that is already is known, right? We know what Kyle Pitts needs to do. We know what Drake London needs to do. We know, hopefully, we be able to see what Bijan 100%. We know what Desmond Ritter has to do, right? So I'm not going to talk about players. I'm talking about the team, what the team can come out. If the team does this on offense, defense, special teams, no matter who touches the ball, the Atlanta Falcons will come away with a W this Sunday. And guys, that's all I have. Thank you for coming on. I'm sorry that I kind of fell off about like 2 minutes. My internet went off, but give me your keys, and definitely be talking to you guys on the post game. We can chop it up about what the Atlanta Falcons did to get that win that we took on Sunday. And this is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.